Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed. Great to have you in company with us on this April 2nd, 2024, after a 4-day weekend, a long weekend. I most certainly hope that you had a wonderful weekend, a great rest, and you took in some of the things we traditionally do around Easter, a little church, maybe some kite flying, time with family, but most importantly, I hope you got some rest as well. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning for today's presentation. So I hope you can stick around for all that we have to offer. If you can't, remember, we are everywhere that you can find us online, including YouTube and Facebook. So feel free to go on back and catch us a little later, Morning Barbados in the evening. Yeah, something that might be right for you. So we have a good show planned for you today. Dr. Gillian Birchwood will be in. I think this is the first time we're going to have her in the flesh since COVID. So it's going to be exciting to have her in as we continue our look at pediatric care. And we're looking at common pediatric emergencies at home today. We're going to take a look at that, things like choking and some other hazards that can present themselves, particularly when we have little ones around. Now, the Barbados Boy Scout Association, they're having their annual Family Fun Day coming up. So we have the chair, Jason King, who will be in to tell us about that fun day. He's chair of the committee. They're going to talk about all they're doing with these young men to get them ready for life, for the world. So that should be very interesting. Plus, Blackman and Gollop Primary Schools Calypso Competition 2024. It's always exciting to hear from the little ones competing. We have a few teachers passing through, as well as the mighty E. He will be here. Kamara Phillips Carter, her name is Mara. And Avery Carter, who is also a contestant. So it's coming off on Saturday, April 6th. And we're going to tell you a whole lot more about that. Plus, we have a Miss Ellerslie pageant coming up for 2024. And we have a few contestants and a teacher who will be in to tell us about it. Carrie Rollins is a teacher. Ayanna Thompson is a part of the Miss Ellerslie Ambassador 2024 program, as well as Rain Clark. So we look forward to hearing about that. Plus, Romero Lashley, retired public educator. We're going to start back a little series with him as we continue to look at the 11 plus examination and its impact. So we have lots to unfold today. But as you might have noted, the show focuses heavily on a lot of young people. So we have a lot of school-age children who are going to be on the show today with us. We're going to get our conversation started, though, with conversations on CARICOM. And I was saying to Ambassador Comishong, I feel as though I just saw him. Maybe it's because, you know, we're starting the week on a Tuesday. So welcome, Ambassador. Great to see you again.
Thank you, Tisha. I'm happy to join as a relatively young person on this show that is devoted to youth.
But it's wonderful to have you with us again. And it's, you know, people don't get to see behind the scenes, but we were chatting even before we got started. You know, it's always good not to necessarily start cold turkey, but to kind of discuss all that's been going on. So before we start, how was the weekend? Did you get to take in any of the, you know, the traditional Easter type things?
The weekend was great. I mean, but I had two highlights. I went to church on Sunday morning.
Lovely.
Nice Easter morning service at the
Is that
James Street
a
Methodist.
twice yearly occurrence?
Kind of. When the Spirit moves me.
Okay.
So the Spirit moved me this weekend. And the Nicholas Branca concert at Codrington College. If you missed it,
you missed it.
Blame yourself.
Yes.
It was fantastic.
I can just imagine. Nicholas is always wonderful. Are you a kite flying type person, or because I had some kite flying with the children this weekend and it turned out quite nicely.
Back in my boy days, yes, we actually used to make kites back in the day. My grandson is doing the kite flying now.
Wonderful, wonderful. But I too had a wonderful weekend, a little bit of everything, you know, as the spirit moved, you know, for those of us who make it to church twice a year. Yeah, but nonetheless, I'm sure we're happy to say that we did make it. So we're looking at something very interesting today. A number of countries throughout the region are associate members, obviously because they're not fully
of CARICOM,
associate members of CARICOM because they're not fully independent, and a number of them are moving in that direction. But there still are many Caribbean territories and countries that are not fully there as yet, maybe more than we anticipate.
Yeah, well, I want us to talk about perhaps one of the best kept secrets of our region, which is that our region of the Caribbean is the single most colonized region in the world. And, you know, if you ask those of us who live in the independent countries, how many colonies are there still in the Caribbean? You'll get answers like 5 and 6 and 7.
I said 5, that was my number.
But the truth is, there are 19.
I never would have guessed 19.
There are still 19 colonies in the Caribbean, British, French, Dutch, and United States colonies. And we are supposed to be into the United Nations 4th international decade for the eradication of colonialism, which is another well-kept secret, that there's actually a decade devoted to the eradication of colonialism. And so I just want to talk about that a bit today. This is a map of the Caribbean. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. And, you know, we think of the Caribbean as like a chain of islands, but we really need to think of a circle, right? From French Guyana, just east of Suriname, all up the chain of islands, and then around and back down to South America. And if we follow this this sequence coming from French Guyana,
I'll hold it for you. Let me hold it for you.
We are talking about French Guyana. We come up the chain of islands just north of St. Lucia, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Montserrat. Then just north of St. Kitts, St. Martin, we have the French St. Martin, a small island divided into 2 colonies, and the Dutch St. Martin. Then we have St. Eustatius, Saba, St. Bartholomew, these are French colonies, Anguilla, British Virgin Islands, US Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and then just north of Haiti, Turks and Caicos Islands, in the North Atlantic, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, just west of Jamaica, Aruba, and then we come down.
Yes.
We come down just above Venezuela, Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire.
Wow.
19 colonies still exist in the Caribbean.
I was thinking about, I guess, the English-speaking ones, the English colonies. But when you list it that way, it certainly hits with a different tone. When you talk about the Caribbean and Latin America being the most colonized region of the world.
But let's just focus on the Caribbean, because Latin America is really decolonized, but it is the Caribbean. And and we should see this, those of us in the independent countries, we need to be more aware of this.
Wow.
And we should have as an ambition for our region to totally decolonize our region and to consolidate it, you know, as a fully sovereign and independent region of the world. You know, the British came to this part of the world, they set up colonies in the Caribbean, they set up the 13 colonies in the southern part of North America, and the colonies in the northern part of North America, those colonies consolidated. They got their independence. The Americans did their revolution, consolidated their United States of America. The Canadians got the independence of their colonies, consolidated them into the Confederation of Canada. But we are still struggling.
The question, the question is, though, are many of these countries looking toward independence?
Well, that's part of the little dirty secret too, that the colonial powers have essentially put the decolonization movement on pause. I think the last time we had a colony move into independence would have been East Timor. This is close to Indonesia, at the beginning of this century. And so in spite of the fact that the UN has declared now 4 decades to achieve total eradication of colonialism, it has not happened. And this is because the colonial powers have definitely de-emphasized the decolonization movement, and instead they have been seeking to persuade the people who live in these colonies that they're giving them partial self-government arrangements that they should be satisfied with. But a number of the people in these territories are not buying it. So you do have decolonization organizations and movements in virtually all of these countries. But they face, whereas when we became independent, there was that move both in our region, but also internationally towards full decolonization. In recent decades, that has been dampened, and instead, the colonial powers are now seeking to kind of legitimize these semi-colonial status.
So the question is, how do these larger countries benefit from keeping these smaller nations as colonies? What are some of the ways that they continue to benefit? Because if you look at it from an historical perspective, certainly a lot of people will make the linkage to slavery and things of that nature, maybe the commodities that were produced in the colonies, tobacco and sugarcane, cotton, etc. But how do they continue to benefit from holding on to, so to speak, these countries?
It's a kind of something left over from that old colonial imperialist pride and arrogance that you have bridgeheads of your power and your culture and your influence in different parts of the world. I mean, Britain actually went to war against Argentina in the early around 1980 thereabouts, over the Falkland Islands. Thousands of miles, these little islands in the South Atlantic, thousands and thousands of miles away from Britain. But it was important for them to maintain these little outposts of empire. France goes to great lengths to keep Martinique and Guadeloupe and French Guyana as pieces of French territory. And it is this idea, it's about prestige, but it is also about having these strategic beachheads of their power and presence and influence. And so, yes, I think we, especially in CARICOM, because CARICOM is actually the strongest regional Caribbean body. And we do have a structure in CARICOM where we have full members of CARICOM, we have associate members, which tend to be non-independent territory. So we do have a structure where if we were more conscious about it and we applied it more systematically, we could be a big part of the solution to this problem to help existing non-independent countries to make that transition towards independence. So an interesting thing is happening. I mean, our 5 associate members are Bermuda, Turks and Caicos, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, and Anguilla, all of them colonies. Bermuda, interestingly enough, has just petitioned to become a full member of CARICOM, even though it is still a colony. But we have this anomaly in CARICOM where Montserrat is a full member, even though Montserrat is still a British colony. And that is because Montserrat was part of the associate states in 1973 when we formed CARICOM. There were only 4 independent countries, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and Jamaica. But we formed CARICOM with, as full members, both the independent countries and the then existing colonies, which were supposed to be associated states of Britain. So Montserrat came in. The others that came in as colonies all became independent, except Montserrat. So we have this anomaly where you do have a colony that is a full member of CARICOM. And so the other colonies that are associate members have looked at Montserrat and have said, hey, if Montserrat can be accommodated as a full member, then you should be able to accommodate us as well. So the first one that is making that move to full membership is Bermuda, and we expect that Bermuda will be made a full member at the Heads of Government Conference in July of this year. So to my way of thinking, that this perhaps is a first step for Bermuda, not just to become a full member, but ultimately maybe to become a fully independent territory as well. So there are other colonies that are petitioning CARICOM to become associate members. Martinique, for example, is on the verge of being brought in as an associate member, and that should happen in July as well. So to my way of thinking, perhaps that could be seen as part of Martinique's journey. Ultimately, I don't want to speak for the Martinican people, but surely this idea of joining CARICOM as an associate member when your country is non-independent, maybe making the transition to full membership, and perhaps using that to help in the journey to full independence as well.
On the other side of things, what impact, if any, will this have on CARICOM? Moving from a place where we have, say, a Montserrat as the exception to where we will have possibly far more territories being a part of CARICOM, and looking at generally what we hope to accomplish, which is Caribbean unity in essence. And we have the various heads of government from the various Caribbean islands, more or less leading at different points in time. How do you think this will impact the general move of CARICOM toward Caribbean integration fully economically and otherwise?
Well, I can't speak for CARICOM, but I personally would support the idea of CARICOM being very open to non-independent countries coming into the CARICOM fold and getting that. You see, they get valuable experience because they get the experience of rubbing shoulders with the leaders and the officials of independent countries, and being part of that whole atmosphere, getting a sense of what it is, to operate at that level. So I think it's a very important experience for them. The ones who have been associate members for several years now, British Virgin Islands, Caymans, etc. I think that experience has been important for them. And just like Bermuda, several of them have said as well that they think that having gone through associate membership for many years now, they too, like Bermuda, are ready to become full members. So I think our experience with Montserrat has equipped CARICOM to know how to deal with that situation. So Montserrat has functioned well as a full member. Being a colony, it means that they don't participate in our Council for Foreign Relations. So they're not part of those foreign affairs discussions and so forth. But other than that, we integrate Montserrat in virtually everything else. So I think we have the experience now to know how to accommodate, especially those that have had that experience of being an associate member for some time. The greater challenge now will be the other ones the Dutch territories, the French territories, because and they have all, many of them have already indicated an interest. Curacao, Aruba, they have petitioned to become associate members. The U.S. Virgin Islands, and as I told you, Martinique is the most advanced. They not only petitioned, but they're on the verge of actually being admitted as an associate member. So I think these are very positive developments, and I think these developments are in keeping with that United Nations overarching policy that colonialism must be eradicated. Colonialism is an anachronism, it's a throwback to those centuries of colonial domination, imperialism, and in the Caribbean, enslavement and the oppression of our peoples, and that the world community must have an aspiration to totally eradicate colonialism, and we as CARICOM, we have to play our part in helping to achieve that.
All right, well, looking through a larger scope, as we look at the UN, and as you mentioned, 4 decades in, what does it say about the work of the organization that we're still seeing so many colonized nations in the Caribbean?
Yes, it's a sad commentary, really. and you have to say it's a combination of, one, the foot dragging of the colonial powers, and principally we are talking the UK. Let's name them: the UK, France, United States of America, and the Netherlands. Those are the major colonizing powers that are still holding on to colonies. The U.S. is a real anomaly. They were the ones who went to war against the British Empire in 1776, their American Revolution against colonialism, got their independence, and then proceeded to carve out colonies in the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So it's a combination of their intransigence, but secondly, the United Nations as an institution has not been serious enough, has really not been firm enough, and has permitted these colonizing powers basically to take them through the motions. So from the first decade was 1990, that achieved very little. Said, let's do a second one, that too achieved very little. And now we're into the fourth one, which is from 2020 to 2030. And all the signs are there once again that very little is being achieved. So we have to play our part. I mean, this, for too long, this has been a little dirty secret. We in the independent Caribbean countries, we don't talk about it. We don't think about it. We are not conscious that there's still so much colonialism in our region. I mean, we have, there are all kinds of visiting lecturers that come to Barbados, lectures about all kinds of things. When is the last time you've heard a lecture about decolonization? About the fact that there's still so much colonialism in our region. So we have to wake up, we have to do more, and that's why I wanted to do this program today. This is, well, I'm making a call.
This absolutely sounds like a throwback to me. And I mean, if we are talking throwback in the truest sense, what was in the sauce? What was the difference for the nations that made that move? We hear a lot of people argue about Britain maybe giving up a few of the territories and not necessarily having to, in American form, fight for independence. But does it come down to leadership? It was to leaders who are interested, or is it more?
Well, it was two things. First, we had just come out of the Second World War. And having gone through that war, these colonial powers were weak. The war had weakened them, and it was becoming more and more difficult. They didn't to muster the resources to hold on to far-flung colonies, and then there was struggle. We in the Caribbean, we struggled in the 1930s, the whole set of rebellions, including the Clement Payne-led rebellion here in Barbados. That was like a wake-up call to the colonial empires. But in the 1950s, we were demanding self-government and independence. But the British were holding out, and they were saying, yes, you will eventually get independence down the road. But the Africans had taken up the struggle. We had done our fighting in the 1930s. In the 1950s, the Africans had taken up the baton. So whether it was in Ghana with Nkrumah, Kenya with Jomo Kenyatta and the Mau Mau, Malawi with Hastings Banda, Zambia with Kenneth Kaunda, the Africans were now on the move, taking up physical struggle with the British Empire. And it became clear to Britain, look, we just cannot continue in the old way. We just don't have the resources to be putting down anti-colonial struggles on the African continent, resisting the demands of the Caribbean colonies. And so the British came to Christian understanding. We can't continue like this, and hence that decolonization movement that swept the British Empire. So that was like a moment in history when things just came together to really make it possible to happen. But since then, that moment has kind of waned, and since then they have put on the brakes. And especially after Britain did Brexit, came out of the European Union, what our colleagues in the Caribbean British colonies are saying to us, they're saying that ever since Brexit, the colonies have now become even more important to Britain, and that they are sensing with the British government a greater resolve now since Brexit to hold on to these little pieces of their former empire. So for example, in the British Virgin Islands, they have had to beat back a threat since 2022 from Britain to do away with the little self-government that they have, and to reimpose full colonial rule from London. And so far they have been successful with the help of CARICOM in holding the British at bay. But that gives you a sense of the extent to which the colonial powers are still determined to hold on to these remnants of colonialism. And that brings out that we have to be more aware, more conscious, and we have to give more help to these remaining colonies.
All right, and we have lots more to get through. I mean, you gave me this CARICOM book to hold. Well, admittedly, I offered to hold it for you. It weighs no less than 5 pounds, I dare say. It's a heavy book. There's a lot happening. So it's wonderful to have you in to kind of dissect what we're looking at.
And you know what I will do? I will get a second one and donate it to you so you could read the full 5 pounds of it.
After I work out with it. I mean, this is definitely heavy, literally and figuratively, but it's wonderful to really get into what's happening in our neck of the woods, so to speak. So thanks again, Ambassador, for giving it that thought for us to kind of live with in the coming days. Certainly is a stark reality to hear that there are still 19 countries across the Caribbean that are still colonized, and for the Caribbean to carry that title of being the most colonized part of the world.
Yes, it's not something we should be proud of. We have unfinished work to do.
All right, well, we know that your work starts now. Ambassador David Comichon, always something insightful for us to really start our weeks and to think about. All right, it's time for a break. When we come back, Dr. Gillian Birchwood is in. We're looking at pediatric care, all of those ways that we need to take care of our little ones, particularly as we look to a holiday coming up. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Tune in to CBC Newsnight for the NISS Business Report, a comprehensive look at the local, regional, and international business world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during CBC Newsnight. Brought to you by the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Mornin Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate pageant experience.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so welcome back. We just had a long 4-day weekend with lots happening, and it's a little different because I was trying to figure out, usually the Easter holiday includes Easter. The upcoming holiday, Easter is gone already, but there's a holiday coming. So we absolutely have to prepare for that. We have to roll out the red carpet and welcome back to the actual studio Dr. Gillian Birchwood. We're so accustomed to seeing her on the screen since COVID that, you know, it really is refreshing to have you with us this morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here. It's really different and interesting.
Absolutely great to have you with us. Now, you are a consultant pediatrician and neonatologist at the QEH, and today we want to look at common pediatric emergencies that might occur at home and how we can really prepare for any eventuality, if we indeed can. So let's start by looking at choking, which is one of those things that can happen for anyone, but certainly we see little ones, particularly in the vacation, depending on what fruit is in season. And I know the risk of choking kind of intensifies when we talk about things like ackee or ginnup and things like that. So how do we as parents prep for that?
You know, it's the emergency you never want to have to deal with, but unfortunately, occasionally does happen. It happened to me as a mother at home with my own baby, and the truth is, if I didn't know what to do, my daughter would not be here right now. And so, although we don't want it to happen, we do want to be able to be prepared and know exactly what to do and spring into action right after you notice it. So how you handle choking depends on whether you are dealing with a baby or with a child. And the things that they're likely to choke on vary, again, depending on whether you're dealing with a baby or with an older child. So for a child who's less than a year of age, they're much more likely to choke on liquids. Whereas with older children, as you said, they might be eating something, an object, or they might be playing with an object in their mouth. You know, when children get older, they will pick things up and put it in their mouth. So they might choke on a toy like Lego, or as you said, ackee. I always feel very nervous when I see children by the side of the road buying ackees and their parents giving them ackees, because the ackee seed is the right size and shape to perfectly cause choking in children. So you have to be very careful when you are dealing with children, and you should avoid foods that when you cut them, they make a circle in the diameter. Like, for example, those hot dogs. When you're cutting them, cut them lengthwise. Don't cut them so that you can see the circumference as a circle, because that can cause choking as well.
All right, that's so interesting. Looking at how you prepare the food.
Yes.
Very, very interesting. But I want to dial back to something that you said that surprised me. That children under 1 tend to choke more on liquids.
Yes.
Elaborate on that.
Yes, so very young babies, especially those who are less than 6 months of age, are much more likely, they're not going to be in the position most times to pick up objects. And so they're being fed milk, they may vomit, or the curdled milk may come up out of their stomach and block their airways and cause choking. And so when we are handling choking in babies, we are mindful that it's actually more likely to be liquids, although it's not very common, fortunately.
All right, so what should we do if we have a child who's choking? Because I would imagine this would be any parent's nightmare.
Absolutely, it's a total nightmare. As I said, it happened to me with my own child. And you have to resist the urge to panic, because the signs of choking in children and babies, for example, you may see them heaving and you will hear no sound. That is the cardinal area of concern. If you hear no sound, it means that air is not moving in and out. Choking is not where you can hear the child coughing and spluttering, but no sound whatsoever. So for example, with my daughter, she was crawling on the floor and I noticed that she just started heaving and I was hearing no sound. I ran to her and turned her over and she was blue already. So you can imagine how terrifying that was, even though I was a pediatrician and would know what to do. So if you have a young baby who's under the age of 1 year, and we have our mannequin, no children will be harmed during the filming of this segment. So the first thing you want to do with a very young child is to prop them on your thigh and hold them face down. You want to hold them face down and support their head. You don't want their head flopping all over the place. And you want to hold them face down because it's more likely to be a liquid. So you want that liquid to be able to drain out with the assistance of gravity. So you're going to hold them face down and you're going to give them 5 strong back blows. Don't be afraid. I mean, you're going to use force that's relative to their size, but you want to give a blow that's strong enough to create a vibration in the airway and to increase the pressure in the airway so that the object has a chance to be dislodged. So 5 strong back blows with the heel of your hand. If that does not work, you're going to turn the child over using what we call the sandwich turn. You're going to hold the child on their head, still supporting the head from the front, turn them over and put them on your thigh, again holding their head lower than their bottom. And you are going to give 5 chest thrusts. In a baby, you are doing their chest, not their abdomen. If you squeeze a baby's abdomen, you could damage the organs which are still developing. So you use 2 fingers just below an imaginary line connecting the nipples, holding the child's head down, and you're going to squeeze 5 times sharply downwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to alternate between doing the back blows and the chest thrusts once the child is conscious. Now, if the child is not conscious, you're going to stop doing that altogether, and then you're going to go into giving the baby breaths to make sure that you can provide some air. If you can see an object clearly and you're sure that you can reach it and take it out, that's the only time you're going to stick your fingers in, because you don't want to push an object further down and then you really are going to have a problem.
I know that's what a lot of people feel inclined to do, is to kind of put their hand in the mouth with the intention of getting the little one to maybe throw up.
Right.
So that's not a good idea.
No, not unless you can clearly see an object that you can remove. If you can't, you risk pushing it down further, causing swelling in the airways and making choking worse. So that's for a baby. For a child now, who's a year of age and up, they're more likely to be standing up. You're going to be looking for those signs of choking, which is that you might see them clutching their airway. You might see them trying to breathe or trying to cough. And you will go to them and look, and if they're old enough, you can confirm that they are choking. Once they're conscious, you're going to bend them over. Although I only have a baby mannequin, this would really be the technique for a child. You're going to bend them over at the waist, supporting their chest, and again, the heel of your hand with those 5 back blows. And then you're going to turn them around. You don't have to turn them around, you can check. If they're not breathing, then you're going to do abdominal thrusts in a child who's older than 1 year. You would take your hand, make a fist, put it into the abdomen, not the chest this time. Put your other hand over, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pushing upwards, again to try to get that object to displace. So you're going to alternate between the back thrusts and the abdominal thrusts in an older child. And hopefully you'll be able to get the object dislodged.
All right, well, I know usually in recent times we've heard more about the Heimlich procedure.
Yes.
How does this tie in with how you're dealing with children under 1 and then older children over 1?
That's an excellent question. So in babies and children less than a year of age, you do not do the Heimlich maneuver. You would do the chest thrust like we talked about. You would not do the Heimlich maneuver in children who are younger than 1 year of age, because the Heimlich maneuver, which is abdominal thrust, can damage the organs. In children who are older than a year of age, then yes, you can use the Heimlich maneuver, which is really abdominal thrust, where you would put your fists and go upwards above the belly button with your hand over, and you're going to push upwards to try and dislodge that object.
It's kind of important to outline for Barbadians, because for us, a stomach can be anything from below the throat to down to the genitalia. When you hear people talking about the stomach, or you have stomach aches or stomach pains, you could tell me usually it's that. So we're aiming for just above the belly button.
Yes, okay, for that Heimlich maneuver, those abdominal thrusts. So that's what you would do for a choking child. Try your best not to panic.
All right, another area of concern for me, most certainly, and this is not only for little ones, but for people who might have seizures.
Yes.
I know I have been present where this has happened, and I most certainly feel hopeless. I feel like I can do nothing. And in the past, I've seen people push objects like spoons and things like that in people's mouths when they're having seizures, saying that they're hoping for them not to bite their tongues. You know, is that the right way to handle it?
You know, you bring up such an important point, because you hear a lot about people being worried that someone will swallow their tongue or bite their tongue. And the truth is, it's actually really dangerous to try to push an object in someone's mouth when they're having a seizure. So if you think someone is having a seizure, you would see them have shaking of the entire body. That's the most common type. And you may see their eyes roll up. You may see foaming at the mouth. You might see in an older child that they may have lost control of their bowels or their bladder. And it's actually helpful. Again, don't panic. It is extremely rare for a seizure to really lead to long-term brain damage or to lead to death. Although when someone is having a seizure, it really is terrifying to look at. So it's helpful to know that you should just allow the seizure to pass. If it is brief, 5 minutes or less, you want to get that person into a safe place. So for example, if they're standing up somewhere and they've fallen down, you want to make sure there are no sharp objects nearby. You want to clear the area around so they don't harm themselves. You will watch the seizure. If you can get someone to film it, which sounds really strange, but it's helpful for medical professionals to see what it is actually happened and how long, because it might feel like a very long time that it's been happening. You clear the area, you watch the clock, and you allow the seizure to pass. Most times, it'll be quite brief. If you try to shove something into the mouth, you can damage yourself and the child, because the jaws will be rigid with the seizure, and if you try to shove something in, it's likely to break and it might damage their teeth. If you try to stick your fingers in there, your fingers might get damaged as well. So you allow it to pass. When it has passed, you're going to roll them over on their side in case they want to vomit, and then you can call and get help. If it's going on for longer than 5 minutes, you need to bring them down to the accident and emergency so that medication and support can be given to end the seizure.
All right, and another thing that parents have to grapple with is poisoning, and poisoning with everyday household things. Soap, I know a lot more people are using pods these days,
Yes.
and you're hearing a lot more about children popping these pods
Yes.
into their mouths, maybe because they look like little sweets,
Yes.
or you know, they're colorful and interesting to look at. So first of all, we have to remind parents that they should put anything that children can drink or take away, medication as well, because you might be giving the children meds, but you know, I hear people talking all the time about little ones drinking all the medication and things like that. How do you deal then with poisoning? So let's look at the worst case scenario where your little one maybe has consumed some household item or the other, or even overdosed on some drugs?
Yes, so they very frequently will consume household items. They may have pills that might be lying around the house. And so again, you want to try to establish how much and exactly what it is that they might have taken. Do not try to make them vomit, because if, for example, a child has swallowed bleach, which is something that I've seen, if they swallowed Jay's fluid, if they swallowed something that they found in the garden shed, which might be quite poisonous, if it corrodes going down, it's going to corrode coming back up. So you do not try to make them vomit. What you want to do is to, if you have, the child looks alert and happy, you're going to want to pick up the phone and call the helpline at the hospital, or you're going to get in touch with your healthcare provider and ask them what to do. Believe it or not, certain things that might sound dangerous are actually unlikely to be truly dangerous. If it is a medication, you're going to want to get the original packaging with the strength. And if you know how many tablets might have been in there, you might be able to figure out how many tablets they actually took. So it's key to establish exactly what it is. In a minority of cases, you might need extra support to go down to a medical facility, and the child may need something called activated charcoal, which can absorb the poison or the medication from the stomach to minimize the exposure before it's absorbed into the body.
Wow, that's interesting. And then, of course, when we think about, as adults, maybe I'm guilty of this, cleaning, and then we mix all types of things, and sometimes it won't affect one person as it would another. Most certainly it might not affect adults as it would children. So let's talk about how we might be impacting the little ones by mixing chemicals when we're cleaning the home.
Yes, I know sometimes people like to make their own potions to clean whatever it is at home. And the truth is, guilty as charged. And the truth is that mixing, first of all, it actually tends to reduce the effectiveness of the agents. Most agents should not be mixed. They're designed to be used on their own and not to be mixed. The second thing is, when you mix chemicals together, you might end up with a chemical reaction like a school lab, and you might have some horrible fumes being emitted from whatever mixture, which can actually be poisonous if you inhale them. Fortunately, in the Caribbean, our homes are open, and so those fumes are likely to dissipate, as opposed to if you have a closed-up home. But I would strongly recommend that you do not mix and make your own homegrown potion that smells lovely, but perhaps may not be as effective as you think it is in cleaning.
Particularly if you have little ones crawling around on the floor.
Absolutely. You don't want that residue that could be there. And you know, they're often putting their hands in their mouth after touching the ground, and you don't know what chemical residue could be there that could be dangerous to your child.
All right, it's been wonderful having you with us in studio. It's a totally different feel. It's a different vibe to have you here, but certainly some very interesting points to reinforce or introduce new parents to as they look forward to taking care of their little ones and the holiday season.
Yes.
Even thinking about how you store things away,
yes,
at which heights, how you lock cupboards, making sure that
kitchen,
you buy items with child-friendly covers,
and medications.
Even though the children, I have to call the children to open a lot of the child-friendly covers for me. It's like they're better at these things than we are, so we most certainly have to look at it. Thank you so much, Dr. Jillian Birchwood.
Thank
Look forward
you.
to seeing you again soon.
Thank you. It was great to be here for a change.
All right, wonderful stuff. So, we looked at choking and seizure, poisoning. Just be mindful of those things as you go through your day. And for those of us who are not necessarily sure on how to deal with choking, I thought that was quite insightful. All right, time for a break here on Morning Barbados. When we come back, the Boy Scouts are invading the studio. That's all next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Tune in to CBC Newsnight for the NISS Business Report, a comprehensive look at the local, regional, and international business world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during CBC Newsnight. Brought to you by the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate pageant experience.
Every night we bring you a complete
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So the Barbados Boy Scouts Association recently had their Founders Day, and now they have something very interesting coming up. So we're joined by Jason King, who is chair of the Barbados Boy Scouts Association Family Fun Day Committee. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Tisha.
All right, good to have you with us. Now, first of all, you have to break down this uniform for me. I'm always intrigued with all the badges and this and that and the hat on the shoulder. So run us through the uniform that you're wearing quickly.
So, standard uniform for a leader.
No pun intended, standard uniform.
The key here is the difference in the scarf. Of course, have my district patch on, my Barbados Boy Scouts badge on, and of course the most important, which is the fleur-de-lis, which is indicating that I'm a member of the Worldwide Brotherhood of Scouting. This is a wood badge scarf, and it has adult leadership training for being able to instruct boys. The beads, which are a replica of beads which our founder Baden-Powell found on a necklace which had been taken from a Zulu chief during the Boer War in the early 1900s. These also indicate that level, and they go in line with the wood badge scarf.
And there's a tie of sorts around the wood badge, around the scarf as well, and it looks wooden too.
Yes, that woggle indicates again level of training, which would be that I've done at least campers training, which means I can conduct a camp. It's again a wood badge woggle.
It's called woggle. Okay, what about the piece of cord that I see running into your pocket?
It just is attaches to the whistle, which is a significant part of our uniform, and is used to give instructions to the boys and sometimes just bring them in line. As you go down in age, sometimes the boys need rather than using your voice, you can use the whistle to get the boys' attention.
I might need to borrow that whistle to talk with some of the crew here, especially Ruel. Ruel, I'm going to have to get this whistle. Behave yourself. Maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll have to bring my own whistle. What about the hat?
That's part of the uniform, but once we're indoors, it comes off unless we are renewing a promise or the national anthem is being played.
Then you wear the hat?
Then you put it on, yes.
All right, good stuff. So, I mean, that's beautiful. Sitting here looking at you, I mean, that's the first thing that came to my mind, like, what does all of this signify? And it's interesting that I probably wouldn't have gone to the little necklace with the wooden beads at the end, but so much significance in everything that you're wearing is very, very interesting. So you recently had your Founders Day and other activities, an entire month of activities, and I passed by the Botanical Gardens because I know a few people, and I saw some real fun happening. So let's recap all that happened for Founders Day.
Well, as the Deputy Chief Commissioner would have indicated when he was on the program, we did have Founders Day on March 10th. And that dealt with, we had a parade from the Botanical Gardens to Abundant Life Assembly, had the service there, and then came back. Full parade, color party, band from Bridgetown District, and all the different sections. Now, usually the beavers, who are those 4 to 7 years old, we don't let them march down. We let them go straight to the church, but they march back, and they have tons of fun. So Founders Day for beavers is also fun. And if anyone had a chance to watch the service, it's still available on YouTube if you want to recap it. They had fun throughout the service. The elements of the service where we had songs, singing, or some of our silly songs, because one of the things about scouting is that it's supposed to be fun for the boys. So the beavers had, and I recall one particular boy who, while the singing was going on, the entire church was full, and he was just marching on the spot on his own. He was about 5 years old and having a ton of fun, and that's mainly what this is about. So Fun Day coming up is just another element of one of the things that we do.
Oh, that's beautiful. So let's talk about it. It's coming up on the 6th of April. I'm still coming to terms with the fact that it is indeed April. So it's the 6th of April, which is this Saturday.
Yes.
Yes.
Last year, well, we had COVID, and I don't want to say that we're tired of talking about COVID, but it was a reality, and it began a downward spiral for the association. My Cub Pack, for example, went from about 25 members down to 2.
Wow.
At the end of it, I was down to having just 2 boys. However, after COVID ended and we were able to get back out, I've been able to rebuild now to about 25 boys. So it's part of the resurgence. Last year, we tried to bring everybody together. This is the boys, commissioners, leaders, council members, parents, friends of scouting, and I would say especially the fathers, because the men have a significant part to play in the development of their sons and in the health of this association. So Fun Day, just bring everybody together. Let's have some fun events, from sack races to lime and spoon, the traditional events. This year we've added tent pitching, which would be for the older boys, being scouts and venture scouts, to bring an element of fun. One of the highlights last year, the Bridgetown District Band played, and the boys followed them as if they were Pied Pipers. So as they were marching around, the boys were all marching around behind them. But you indicated that you passed by Botanical Gardens after Founders Day, and you would have seen a few boys running around behind a football. There's that element. If you drop a football anywhere among 7 to 11-year-old boys, or 4 to 11-year-old boys, which combines 2 of our younger sections, they will just run around behind it. And we're going to have some of that as well on Saturday.
Now, maybe it was in 2021 or so, I heard a term that I'd never heard of before, that all of a sudden a lot of experts around the globe were saying children were suffering with nature deficit disorder. nature deficit disorder. In short, meaning children were not getting out as much as they needed to. They're not out necessarily playing in the mud, and in some instances, in people of our generation, eating all types of things that they shouldn't eat. So they were not developing, what in the way they needed to be able to fight off certain little viruses, maybe the cold virus and other such things. So it's wonderful to hear that the Boy Scouts is still very interested in getting boys out in nature and just enjoying all that is out there.
Yeah, well, it's an outdoor activity. There are some elements of the program which involve indoor activity. Some of the tours would be at indoor locations. Some of the guidance is instructive, where if you're at a school, church, whichever, you would use a board to do some of the instruction. However, we generally have the boys outside. We are hoping the rain that we are seeing this morning does not appear on Saturday, so that they can do all of the outdoors activities that they want as we descend on the playing field at Queen's Park.
All right, good stuff. And your theme is Boy Scouts charting new paths. Talk about all the ways that you hope to reintroduce Boy Scouts to the community and welcome some of those new folks into the fold, particularly dads, as you move through and hold to this theme that you're working with in 2023.
So Boy Scouts 2024, yeah. Boy Scouts charting new paths is not that we are doing something completely new. So our theme, which would have been started 2 years ago, is Scouting Renewed, which would indicate we're trying to look at different ways of doing scouting. The same way that scouting operated in 1980-81 when I first joined the organization as a Cub Scout can't be the same way that we operate now. And therefore, we're looking at the youth program. There's a youth program review. There's a youth engagement policy. There's an adults in scouting policy, and most importantly, a safe from harm policy. So those 4 elements we are going into in a very detailed and granular way, and we hope will engage members of the public and make them either want to have their boys become youth members or themselves become members as leaders and assist us as we try to continue to build the future men of this country.
All right, that's beautiful. And it's wonderful that you made a call out, especially to men, to get involved in all that you're doing. So it's always wonderful to see fathers and men generally out working along with our younger boys and young men as well. So for Saturday, do we need to be a part of the Boy Scouts movement to come out and be a part of the activities happening?
You definitely don't need to be. Everybody is invited. We're actually intending to have events specifically for non-members. So members of the public, if they've never been to a scouting activity, they're free to come into Queen's Park. We will have present some of our partners in the Task Force on Wellness, the Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition, and the National Council on Substance Abuse. So everyone is free to attend and engage with us. There'll be areas where they can engage any of the senior members of the association to also find out how they can get involved. And the training program for leaders has changed. Previously, it was all face-to-face. Now there is an online element to it, which is more engaging for the public of today.
All right, that's beautiful stuff. And I want to thank you for the work that you're doing as well. I know that you put in a lot of effort, not only with the Boy Scouts, Jason, but generally for schools. So, you know, it must take a lot of jostling with your time to be able to get everything done.
You got to make it happen.
It's true. So thank you for the work and encouraging everyone to come out this Saturday and be a part of this big Boy Scout celebration. Who knows, it might be an opportunity for you to involve your boys in Boy Scouts going forward.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Tisha, and I just hope everyone who is watching us this morning comes out and enjoys the day.
All right, it's a family day, so it's a wonderful occasion for you to come out and be a part of this Boy Scouts presentation. It's in Queen's Park and runs from 10 in the morning to 5 in the evening, so no excuses. Make sure you come out and share in all the fun. All right, so they are already in place, and we look forward to meeting up with them here live from the Standard showroom on Mornin Barbados today. A few ambassadors from the Ellerslie Secondary School, and they've brought along a teacher to tell us all about how they're repping for their school. That's all coming up next. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate pageant experience.
Every night, we bring you a complete look at the weather forecast because keeping you safe and informed is our top priority. The CBC Weather Report, brought to you by Ace H&B Hardware, the helpful hardware.
Mornin Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you.
Tune in to CBC Newsnight for the NISS Business Report, a comprehensive look at the local, regional, and international business world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during CBC Newsnight. Brought to you by the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate pageant experience.
Morning. morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back on this rainy Tuesday morning. I know lots of you didn't want to get out of bed today because you had a long weekend, because usually what we do is we kind of overextend ourselves. So we say, oh, 4 days, I have so much that I can do. And we end up doing so much that by the time it's time to get ready for school or work, we're tired again. So make sure that you get a little bit of rest in. So there's an ambassador program, and some of the ambassadors decided to drop in on us this morning. Wonderful to have some beautiful young ladies and a very handsome teacher joining us here on Morning Barbados. Mr. Kerry Rollins.
Good morning, teacher.
Good to have you with us. And of course, you're escorting the beautiful Daniela Hansen, who's also an ambassador. Sitting next to her is the beautiful Ayanna Thomas.
Hi.
Great to have you here. And the gorgeous Alyssa Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have all three ambassadors with us today. We're going to get to meet a few other ambassadors as well. But Mr. Rollins, talk to us about this program and what it will mean to the students who are participating in it.
All right. Okay, firstly, thank you for having us. So the ambassador program, the theme that we're going with this year is reduce, reuse, reimagine. And we wanted to embark on a journey where we take the children outside of the classroom, where we wanted to show them that learning can take place outside of the traditional classroom. And with sustainability being the main focus, we wanted to emphasize that it's not only the responsibility for us adults, but they, meaning the children, have a hand in terms of their future when it comes to the environment. So we wanted to take them on a journey where they get to learn more about the environment and how little steps that they can take within their lives can help better the environment going forward in the future.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
And-
So it's a learning exercise as well.
Definitely. We wanted to also emphasize communication, public speaking, and most importantly, creativity. We wanted them to have fun, be able to express themselves as well. So when the end of this pageant or this program, that they can look back and see that they have grown tremendously.
All right, that's beautiful stuff. So let's start with you, Daniela. What intrigued you about the ambassador program, about this pageant, that made you think, hey, I want to be a part of it?
The fact that I would get to meet new people, I'd get to speak to others, because I'm a people person and I love interacting with new people. I feel it's a great opportunity.
All right, that's beautiful. What about you, Daniela? Tell me about what you found interesting about the program and why you decided to be a part of it. Yes, for you, Ayanna.
I thought it would help me to build my confidence and interact with people. To be honest, I always like doing stuff like this, but I never had the confidence, courage to go ahead and put myself out there to do it. So when I was my teachers pushing me to join stuff and do stuff like this, I was able to join and just put myself out there.
Oh, that's excellent. And, you know, usually when we think about pageants, all the pretty girls come forward. Yeah, so, you know, you have that part down packed already, so you don't have to worry about it. What about you, Alyssa? You know, was it easy to join the pageant, or did you have to think about it a little bit?
I had to think about it because I'm a very shy person. So I didn't really want to do any first beginning. But I was told to do it to help build my confidence. So I decided that I was doing it, and now I actually like the experience.
What are some of the major things that you've learned so far?
School pride, sustainability, because I didn't really know much about sustainability, personal development.
All right, so some very interesting things. What about you, Daniela? Talk to me about what you've learned so far. What's been most interesting so far?
Well, the tours actually. Because when we go on the tours, we get to learn a lot of new things. So that has piqued my interest the most.
Good stuff. What about you, Ayana? What's been most interesting for you so far?
Self-development. Like doing different stuff to prepare myself for the pageant, like the drama piece that I'm doing, and also the question and answer segment. Like I said, I'm a very shy person, so putting myself out there and speaking up is a big change for me.
This is so interesting because I feel like before COVID, there used to be a lot of school pageants, and I guess it kind of fell off over time. So the little ones who might be in 3rd and 4th form are the ones who would have done the 11 plus in the thick of things. So to be able to have this program and couched as an ambassadorial program must be a real proud moment for the school as well.
Oh, most definitely. The staff has been tremendous in their support, the parents as well. And when we first started in the beginning of the academic year, because it's the first time we're taking on such a program, we didn't know where it would take us. And then to just watch it unfold and see the growth from these young ladies take place before our eyes, you can imagine the beam and the pride that we all have there at the Ellerslie School.
All right, that's absolutely beautiful. I want to hear about these different uniforms because the 3 of you are sitting here with me, but there are 3 kind of different uniforms. So tell me more, first starting with you, Alyssa.
My uniform is 5th year uniform.
Okay, so the tie is different, or is
The
yes?
tie is different.
The tie is different, so you wear a tie in 5th year or in 4th year?
You wear a belt in 4th form and you wear a tie in 5th year.
That's so interesting. Now, I'm going to show my age a little bit because Ellerslie uniform for me was, you know, the nice brown pleated belt, really clean fit, and this and that. And here and the check shirt, yeah. And here you are with this gorgeous new outfit or uniform, if you want to call it that. So tell me about this one, Ayana. Pardon? 6th form uniform. Interesting. It's a gorgeous tie. I mean, it looks like, you know, like you're heading out to the business world. So I would imagine that's what it's all about. And here you are in your overalls looking just as great. So very interesting change. So just the belt with your tunic.
This is from 1st year to 3rd year.
Juniors.
So 1st to 3rd, the juniors, very interesting, the changes for the uniforms. What do you want people to know most about this pageant, particularly for some parents who might still be a little reluctant? I know you talked about reduce, reuse, and reimagine, and the girls talked about all the other ways that they're enjoying it, building self-confidence, heading out to the various tours, being far more outspoken. But talk to us about, you know, the parents who might be a little reluctant about how this generally will work toward helping these students, even outside of the very obvious things that we can see that they can benefit from a pageant.
Right, most definitely. So we talked about communication, we talked about building self-confidence, we talked about creativity, and taking those things from outside of the classroom, these students can take them into the place of work. It can also help enhance or hone their skills in society on the whole. Parents who are looking on that may be a little skeptical, this is a pageant or program with a difference. So it's not all about the glitz and the glam, but it's more of development, professional development and personal development. So you will definitely see the change in your student or your child at the end of the program, or even you don't even have to wait till the end of the program. Throughout the program, you will definitely see a change, and these young ladies are a testament to that.
All right, so next time you guys come back, we're gonna have to talk about the public speaking. You know, it's okay to talk daintily, you know, but we're going to have to practice the speaking up a little bit more so that, you know, you can project all that you're learning as well. I know that you might be a little shy because of all the cameras and this and that and the other, but you know, we're gonna work on all of that. You guys are doing a great job at Ellerslie School. So we're gonna say goodbye to these delegates, and coming up, we're gonna get a chance to meet a few more ambassadors for the Ellerslie Secondary School. That's next. Good stuff, good.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate pageant experience.
Every night, we bring you a complete look at the weather forecast because keeping you safe and informed is our top priority. The CBC Weather Report, brought to you by Ace H&B Hardware, the helpful hardware.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you.
Tune in to CBC Newsnight for the NISS Business Report, a comprehensive look at the local, regional, and international business world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during CBC Newsnight. Brought to you by the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so welcome back to Morning Barbados. I'm enjoying the little rain. You know how it is. It's always, dry outside and this and that and the other, but it's good to have a little rain every now and then. So good to have you with us. On this Tuesday, after a long, long weekend, we're still sitting in with some of the beautiful ambassadors from not the Ellerslie Secondary School. It's just the Ellerslie School. I mean, there have been so many name changes, I can't keep up. But now they have a 6th form show, so I should know better because it's not only secondary. They're now preparing young people for tertiary, or their foray into tertiary education as well. So that too is a proud moment. Carrie Rollins, who's a teacher at the school, is still sitting in with us. When he gets to school today, everybody will be saying, "Hello, Carrie." I know how it is with students, once they tell to call teachers' names. But now we're joined by Rain Clark, who is also a contestant. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Kiara Lovell. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, good to have both of you with us. Now, this uniform is different again because they did not tell me about the school patch on the pocket. So is that for 4th year?
Yes.
Okay, so the school emblem with the belt is 4th year, and 5th year is the tie. All right, I'm learning, I'm coming along. So talk to me about, what piqued your interest in the pageant, Kiara? What made you say, I think I'm going to be a part of it?
Probably because I never experienced anything like this before, and I think it would be a great experience putting myself out there and showing myself that I can, because I shy. So showing myself that I can be more confident and more outgoing. So I think it was just to have the experience and to make my school proud.
Oh, that's beautiful. What about you, Rain?
It was for the experience, and because my mother wanted to join a pageant, but she was already leaving the school, so I wanted to join the pageant and live it for her.
Let mom live vicariously through you. I love it. That's what you just said. What are some of the interesting things that you've gotten to do, Kiara?
Tours. We went on tours.
Tell me more about the tours. Where have you been?
We went to see recycled stuff and how you recycle garbage, and sustainability is our project, so we have to know about that. And also we went to model up UE, so we got to get that experience as well in front of people before our big day, which is the 6th of April. So I just think, that was...
All right, that's beautiful. What about you? Tell me, Rain, what have been some of the interesting things so far?
My favorite was the submarine tour, because we got to go in the submarine and experience being under there with all the fish. It was very interesting, and the fashion show at UE.
All right, that's beautiful. Can I tell you a secret you can't tell anybody else? Just will be between us two. I've never been on the Atlantis submarine. Yeah, Mr. Rollins, I can hear the judgment, the tone in your voice. Yeah, but this is all happening on Saturday, so tell us how we can be involved and be a part of this amazing ambassadorial program that's also a pageant.
Right, so the pageant is going to be on Saturday, April the 5th at the Ellerslie School. It's going to be at the auditorium. Tickets are $20. You can get the tickets from the office at the school, or you can just contact the school itself and be able to get one sent to you.
All right, that's beautiful. So you're expecting a lot of people to come out?
Oh, definitely, a full house, a full house.
How many girls are there?
There are 5.
Okay, so
all 5 that you saw
girls,
here this morning.
Yes.
And the competition is going to be very, very tight.
What are the various categories?
All right, so we're going to have the introduction. They're going to be able to tell the judges about their sustainable project that each of them had to undertake and their talent. So they are creative young ladies as well. So some of them going to be singing, drama, poetry, and then the final one will be the question and answer.
Of course, and then it's all in keeping with the entire topic of sustainability.
Yes,
so
sustainability, school pride, Rain and Kiara just mentioned that as well. Things that we can do as the educational institution, how can we incorporate sustainability within our schools?
That's absolutely beautiful. So we are going to keep the projects that you guys had to work on a secret. They get to find out more about what you're doing, but I certainly hope that you'll be able to carry on with these projects, and they're projects that once you start them, you will certainly be able to share them in your community, with your schools, in your homes, and that they really prep you for all that's happening in life and generally in our community. Yeah? So you two are tasked with inviting Barbados to come out and be a part of the pageant, starting with you, Kiara. So this is your camera, Kiara. You have to look into the camera and tell Barbados why they should come out in their numbers and support the pageant this Saturday.
I think you should come and support us, because not only will there be various things going on, but I think that it will really show you what Ellerslie is really about, and it would open your eyes and see that we are not only just a school, but we are the Ellerslie school, and we can and will do more stuff like this coming up.
Excellent, good stuff. What about you, Rain? That's your camera right there, so you have to look straight into the camera lens and go for it.
I would like people to come and support our school's pageant, because it's not just a pageant, it's a
It's an activity to...
It's an activity to get students to open up about themselves and be more confident and not listen to what other students have to say about them.
All right, that's good stuff. Wonderful. See, it wasn't that bad. I'm prepping you for the question and answer. That's exactly what it is. But you did, y'all did a fantastic job, all 5 of you, and I wish you the very best on Saturday. I most certainly will try to make it out.
Oh, yes.
I'll be the one in the back waving, like, hey, because I know all the names and so on. So congratulations. You're all absolute winners already. Just to be a part of such an amazing pageant, and it's good to see that pageantry is back. Thank you so much, Mr. Rollins.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
But this time with a beard. Last time I saw you didn't have a beard. Yeah, sorry for embarrassing you. I can't help myself. All right, all the best, girls. You have to head back to Black Rock now, yes?
Yes.
Black Rock is my stomping ground. So good morning to everybody in Black Rock. I'm actually heading to Black Rock when I leave here too. So we're in the same boat. All right, time for another break. But stay with us when we come back. More about schools. This time we are deep diving into the 11 plus exam. This year during the budget we heard that there's going to be another pushback. So education reform, but still the 11 plus is in place. So we're discussing that coming up with Romero Lashley. He's no stranger to Morning Barbados, but this time around we are looking at how the 11 plus exam will impact our students moving forward and other generations, maybe phasing it out. So, you know, stay tuned for that. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate pageant experience.
Every night, we bring you a complete look at the weather forecast because keeping you safe and informed is our top priority. The CBC Weather Report, brought to you by Ace H&B Hardware, the helpful hardware.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Now we're reaching out to the schools all across the island. One school that I pass all the time is the Blackman and Gollop Primary School, and they are back with their annual Calypso Competition 2024. We have some hard hitters joining us now on the set. They're going to be a part of the presentation. So help me welcome Avery Carter. Avery is his stage name, but for the purposes of this interview, I'm going to be calling you AJ. Is that okay, Avery?
Yes, please.
All right, good stuff. Also here is young Mara. That's her stage name, but she's Kamara Phillips Carter. Good morning, Mara. Good to have you with us.
Good morning.
All right, so for you, Avery, you guys have brought along Jamal O'Neill, who is your teacher at the school. Yes, he's a teacher at the school?
Yes, please.
All right, so Avery, tell me a little bit about this teacher. Is he a teacher in your class or?
No, please.
No, he's just a teacher.
He's the singing teacher.
He's the singing teacher. The question is, can he sing? Can he sing? Do you think so?
Yes.
A little bit.
A lot.
Mara, what are your thoughts? They're telling Avery something. What was that?
That he is not a singing teacher.
So what does he do?
He does teach classes.
Okay, so he's not a singing teacher or a singing teacher. He is a teacher. Yeah, there's a difference. So welcome, Mr. O'Neill.
Good morning, welcome. Thank you for having me.
This not the singing teacher quite.
No.
Yeah, but the students categorize, where you are. So talk to me a little bit about this year's presentation of the Calypso competition.
Well, thanks for having me once again and the school. Well, the Calypso competition this year is being patronized by More Lady Mortley once again. And we have 10 contestants this year. So we have from Infants A, to Class 4. So this year we have Avery, Kamara, and we have some other hard hitters also that you probably heard before.
All right, good stuff. So with you, Mara, talk to me about the song that you will be singing for the competition.
I will be singing Save It for Later.
Save It for Later. Who wrote that song?
My mom wrote it with me.
Your mom wrote it with you. So initially, when you heard about the singing competition, did you think, I'm going to enter this competition? Or, did mommy or somebody else, a teacher or someone say, you should enter?
I thought I should enter myself.
You did? So you want to sing in future when you grow up? You want to be a singer or maybe just have that as something fun to do?
Yes.
All right, good stuff. What about you, Avery? How did you become a part of the competition?
Last year, I come 7th in my competition.
Okay, so you
I come in and win again.
You come in to win this time around. So tell me about your song.
The name of my song is Born This Way.
Born This Way. All right, and who wrote your song?
My mommy.
Mommy wrote the song? So the mummies are really getting in here with the creative juices. It's a great way to get the parents involved. And, based on what these two are telling me, it seems like, the parents are definitely very involved.
They are.
What was the response? Like 10 students from the school, that's a big number. What was the response like for the competition?
Actually, there were actually more than 10. And we had to cut back some because we didn't have enough sounds. Some students weren't ready, but we also have, thanks to Anthony Sargent, he played a big role in it, and he actually got the children more involved. And actually, we actually put the songs in the children's hands to say, how do you feel about doing this? How do you feel about doing that? And they came up with their own way of singing the song. But he had his own little twist to it. But the children really came out. The parents definitely did get involved. Some of the parents were very shocked to see that their children are actually wanted to take part in the competition this year.
Wow, Mara, tell me what your song is all about.
My song is all about saving money.
Saving money? Do you save money? So maybe you're going to listen to your own advice. from the song?
I saved my money.
You saved your money?
Yeah.
That's good stuff. The look you gave me before, I wasn't too sure. You had to think about it for a little bit, yes?
No.
No, you're sure that you saved money? Okay, well, maybe I'll have to listen to your song. Tell me, Avery, tell me what your song is about. You said it's called Born This Way. Tell me more about the song.
It's about culture. No matter how old or young you are, this culture is for all of us.
All right, good stuff. Can you give me a little bit of the song? Just maybe 2 lines. No? Yes? Okay, go.
Born this way, I was born this way. Beijing remember that they was born this way. When he took my place, I just broke my waist. Mother sadly started, got to hold my heart. I just rode an horse when he lashed its sail. When he spoke a play, I just jump and wave. Barbados, good morning to you and me. Crop over it, all of we legacy. So stop the violence and put down the guns. Start the city country and have some fun. I was born this way.
Oh, that was sweet. All right, if you're ready to do the next verse, Mara, you know you have to give us a little piece of your song as well. Okay, so take it away.
S-A-V-E, say something for you and me. S-A-V-E, go to me and daddy. S-A-V-E, let's say, all adds up. S-A-V-E, invest in your future.
All right, good stuff. I love it. S-A-V-E, save. That's good stuff, you know, really enjoying it. When does the Calypso show come off, and how can we be a part of it?
Well, it'll be at the Blackman Primary School at Stable Grove, not too far from here. It starts at 5:30 p.m. It's on Saturday, this Saturday, so don't forget, if you want to get your tickets, you come to the show, you can purchase it from the Blackman Primary School, and yeah, you can just come.
All right, good stuff. So Avery is going to be there. I know that you and Mummy have a little bit of a conflict of sorts going on now, because she says your stage name is Avery, but you told me it's AJ, so you're going to be settled on that by Saturday, yes?
Yes, please.
Is it Avery or is it AJ?
AJ.
AJ. All right, we're going with AJ, Mummy. You are voted out. And I wish you the very best as well, Mara, with this one, encouraging everybody to save. Thank you so much, Mr. Jamal O'Neill, teacher at the school.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service. I know it's not easy dealing with little ones in particular.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
yeah,
simple,
but it's wonderful to have, you know, you teachers who take care of our children every single day.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so get out and support the Blackman and Gallup schools. Calypso competition coming up this Saturday, 5:30 in the evening. See the young Calypsonians taking the stage by storm. It's time for another break. When we come back, we're talking 11+. You don't want to miss that.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package, because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate pageant experience.
Every night, we bring you a complete look at the weather forecast because keeping you safe and informed is our top priority. The CBC Weather Report, brought to you by Ace H&B Hardware, the helpful hardware.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, welcome back to Morning Barbados. You know, something that we've been talking about, I feel like forever, is the 11 plus exam. And now we're hearing that, you know, there's an even further pushback date for when it will be phased out. I mean, just even the term phase out says that it can't happen cold turkey. It can't happen at once. It's something that has to happen over time because there must be a feasible alternative to what's happening. Ramiro Lashley is joining us. He's a retired public educator and director of the Extra Edge. So good to have you back with us.
Thank you. Good to be here again, Tisha.
All right, so we're looking again at the 11 plus exam and really phasing it out. Do you think as a retired educator that is necessary? Let's start there for us to, and I think we're past this because a decision has been taken based on what we're hearing that it must go. So, you know, what's the feasible alternative that's going to make sense for our students as we embark on such a major change in the way that we not only see education, but the way it's delivered?
I think the things that are necessary are right there before our eyes, but we are too steep in tradition and too scared, too conservative of people to make the changes that are necessary. We just had AJ and Mario from Blackman Gollop. We saw talent, we saw expression. Where does the common entrance touch that? If they get, what, 70 and 90 in common entrance, what about that exam says about their other talents? The common entrance exam, I don't want to say it needs to be abolished. It needs to be put in its place. Written expression in mathematics and English are only two forms of expression of who we are as a people. We pay lip service to our auditory skills, our performance art skills, our athletic skills, the general skills that make up a culture. We pay lip service to those and keep written English and written mathematics on some pedestal as though they are some sacred way of measuring somebody's ability. That's nonsense. What common entrance exam would have told us what Rihanna was going to be? Where is there in the common entrance exam for somebody's skills like a Rihanna or Hussein Bolt to show up?
I can absolutely see, you know, what you're saying with that exam, but we really can't expect such a wide spectrum, I'd say, with any exam, with any single exam.
Yes.
So we'd have to look. We'd have to look at testing.
There has to be a broader system of assessing people over years. A broader system of arriving at a student's profile, a student's general description over time. You can have a final exam. That can be part of it. But you put it in its place, a part of an assessment of who I am as a child growing up.
Then outside of that, once you do this assessment of sorts, the students have to be going into an environment that supports everything else they're doing.
Who they are.
So are we moving generally based on what you've observed in this direction?
I hear some lip service paid to that, but we're not going anywhere. If you examine students' abilities over time in several areas, not just written English and written mathematics, that's just one form. So you don't go to school because you score poor in English or you score poor in mathematics. You go to school perhaps because you're great at using your hands. You're great at organizing things. You're a potential events planner. You have great verbal skills. You have great interpersonal skills. These are all things that are critical in life and that make for great success. The days of measuring somebody based on what they wrote in English or what they wrote in mathematics is nonsense. The system is archaic.
Absolutely. I don't want to take away from students who might be good in those areas.
True. That's all right.
But as you mentioned, and as I'd like to reinforce, there should be measurement in other areas. Now, there are many various programs that are happening. And we've been hearing a lot about some of the changes that will come through the ministry as well. But to your mind, as an educator, what are some of the ways that we can truly start to see change? Because as we mentioned, it has to be a phased approach and it can't all be thrust on the schools. We may not have the ability, like maybe larger societies, to see schools that really focus heavily on very specific areas, maybe in the arts, maybe we may be able to have a school that focuses on sciences, for example, maybe students who are more inclined for athletics or sports. We might be able to do those general areas, but when you get into other specificities, it might be a little more difficult to have schools that cater specifically in those areas. So how can parents start to kind of guide their children who are coming toward 11 plus in the general direction of what is to be expected?
I suspect what's going to happen if the ministry doesn't hurry up is that more and more parents are going to opt to take their children out of the public system and send them to private education, because as long as the school's end point is a common entrance exam as it presently is, the emphasis on teaching is going to be focusing in on teaching English and mathematics written. And the things that we saw just now, the talent shows and so on, are going to remain side shows of education. They need to be major shows. The word extracurricular needs to be banned. The things that we call extracurricular are important preparations for living life. And it shouldn't be extracurricular. They should all be intracurricular. The curriculum needs to be more varied and spend less time. The syllabus, as we know them, needs to be reduced. We have children every year translating from a passive to active voice. Who does that in real life? If you say I was born in 1959, that's a passive voice. What's the active equivalent for that? I have to say, my mother bore me in 1959. who needs to make that switch? So we're drilling things into students every year that you don't really use in real life. So if you want to be a specialist in those things, fine. You want to be a specialist writer, and fine. Poets do a lot of passive and active ways of rendition of their statements. That's all right. But does everybody have to go through that exercise every year? And not only that, in the community exam itself, we give children four comprehensions. Why do you need 4 comprehensions to test my comprehension ability? And what does it have to be always written? Right now we're doing a comprehension exercise too, because you ask a question, I try to understand where you're coming from, and I try to answer. Who says it always has to be written? Where's there room for verbal expression? So yes, so that needs to be banned. And the things that we call in primary and in secondary schools, the things we call extracurricular, they need to be given their prominence, given due respect, and let written and academic expression be a part of whole. Scale those things back.
All right.
Because life is not just written exams.
Absolutely. There's so much to get to. This definitely has to be a phased approach, and I think that we'd be unrealistic if we think that we're going to wake up tomorrow and there will be a through and through change, because I still meet people who the first question they ask is, what school did you go to? And that's kind of entrenched in who we are, what we do, how we think, a lot of how we look at people,
look at ourselves,
how we look at people's abilities, what they can do. We still see a lot of that pervades our community. Now I want to hear more about this pilot learning style assessment that has gone on.
Yeah, what I've done this year in our mock exams was not only to have students do the mock exam, but have them to do a questionnaire that determines their learning style. In other words, it gives you a measurement of the child's preferred way of learning. And here's an example. Here's a child here who scored, the styles were the visual, audio, read writing, kinesthetic. This is a child who scored 11 points in visual, but 0 in read write. What this means is that this child, of all learning styles, this child least prefers reading and writing. And most prefers things that are visual, things that are kinesthetic, doing things, to some extent audio. So this child has gone through 6 years of school, where the greater part of their expression and assessment has been the things that they write, written work. But that's the child's least preferred way of learning.
I don't know how much you've heard about AI and the way AI is changing things, but I watched a mini docuseries over the weekend about how schools are setting up AI programs for individual students to be able to engage and interact with the programs. So the programs assess where the children are, build out programs specifically that are suited for those individuals and things of that nature, and to hear the feedback from the teachers and the students on the strides that have been made in the very short time that they've been engaging with these programs is mind-boggling, to be honest. Your thoughts?
It's an exciting area. It calls for tremendous change in how we approach teaching. Teachers have got to realize that the AI method, AI has a time, because it's dealing with computer memory. It has a time to deal with a child's particular learning style, to give you the kind of feedback that encourages you to go forward, to tell you, well, if you have answered this question correctly, then you need to go to do this module first and then come back to me, and so on and so forth. And the AI doesn't put you down, make you think you feel you're stupid. Whereas a teacher is, one teacher unfortunately is trying to handle 25 students at one time, so you can't be bothered too much about people's learning style. You don't have the time. The syllabus is too wide for you to take the time to vary your learning style from day to day in a way that gets everybody happy and gets everybody learning and engaging. Whereas the child with AI, if you deal with artificial intelligence, that monitor is able to take the time to teach the way you learn best, and the progress will be much more rapid. Teachers have got to begin to retool, refashion how we do things, because otherwise more and more people are going to be drifting out of public systems into private organizations that utilize the technology.
All right, this is a good conversation starter, because this by no means covers anything that we can even say some semblance of a discussion on common entrance. It really is a conversation starter in every sense. So, let's talk about it some more. That we most certainly will do. Thank you so much, Romero Lashley, for sharing with us always. And we know there will always be, views that, don't necessarily go in line with what we share. So we'd like to hear from you. Email us morninbarbados@cbc.bb. As a matter of fact, if there's anything interesting that you think you'd like to see on the show, you'd like to feature or share with the rest of Barbados here and across the diaspora, go ahead and reach out to us. Well, that's today's show. Before we go, though, I want to tell you about what's coming up tomorrow. We meet some of the contestants from the Blackmon and Gollop Primary School Calypso competition tomorrow as well. So some more of the Calypsonians will be coming through. There are 10 of them performing on Saturday, so we'll get to meet them. Doc Talk is coming up as we look at women's health with Dr. John Barker. Plus, we hear about the Barbados Amateur Gymnastics Association Trident Classic that takes place on Saturday, April 6th at the Wildey Gymnasium. And we're going to take a look at some of the results from CARICOM. That's all tomorrow on the Wednesday edition of Morning Barbados. So from all of us, we want to remind you to wear your smiles today, do something good for somebody, but most importantly, come on back tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.